Hainan, China, August 30th, 2025, Typhoon Nanfa roared into China and Vietnam with driving rain and destructive winds, inundating broad swaths of both countries and forcing tens of thousands to evacuate overnight. The storm is known in China as Blue Lake and listed in Vietnam as this year's number 6 typhoon. At daybreak, it raced in from the South China Sea under a lid of low, churning clouds and rolling thunder, the classic telltale of trouble on the way. Nanfa packed gusts approaching hurricane strength, leaving a trail of damage. In Hainan, Guangzhou, and Changsha, wind howled like freight trains, snapping trees and rattling buildings. In Rizhao and Qingdao, Shandong, sheets of rain turned streets into rivers within minutes. In Yunnan, Sichuan, floodwater surged into downtown, turning roads into fast-moving channels. Hainan was still reeling from Super Typhoon Kojiki just 3 days earlier when this fresh blow landed. By evening, the system barreled across central Vietnam. Waves towered in the South China Sea and Bibu Gulf, some reportedly up to 4 meters, while boats were tossed helplessly. China's national forecasters issued back-to-back yellow alerts for flash floods and landslides, but their warnings were nearly drowned out by the storm itself. Experts say heavy rain will persist across Jilin, Liaoning, Anhui, Jiangsu, Hubei, Guangdong, Guangxi, and Hainan, with some areas already beyond safe thresholds. Hainan is especially vulnerable. Soil is saturated and reservoirs are stressed after Kojiki. Sanya carried out emergency releases. Coastal roads were chewed up by storm surge, ports shut down, and all tour boats and ferries were suspended. Rescue crews staffed the shoreline around the clock, keeping visitors out of the water. And Ai Guangjin, deputy director of Hainan's Flood and Drought Authority, put it bluntly, the real danger isn't the wind, it's the rain. Back-to-back storms are pushing reservoirs and dams to their limits. If anything fails, the consequences would be unthinkable. Central Vietnam's Quang Tri, Quang Binh, and Thu Tien, Hue provinces issued alerts. Coastal residents were moved inland, and fishing boats were ordered to shelter. Dong Hai City took a direct hit, with pounding surf and ripping winds battering the waterfront. Reservoir managers faced a no-win choice: hold water to fight drought or release it to curb flooding. Either path risky for aging dams. Chinese meteorologists say the 2025 season is running hotter than usual. By late August, 13 systems had formed over the Northwest Pacific and South China Sea, triple last year's pace, with more likely in early September. Nanfa, they warn, is only the opening act. In Guangdong and Guangxi, fields across the Pearl River Delta disappeared underwater, and authorities along the Yangtze ratcheted up disaster prevention measures many times over. Haikou's ports closed, stranding lines of vehicles. Social feeds filled with clips from Sanya, Rizhao, and Qingdao. Streets turned to torrents, cars submerged to their roofs, families waiting out in the dead of night. Infrastructure took a hit. Multiple power lines were damaged, with brief outages of electricity and water in some towns. Sanya Phoenix International closed its runway for a time. Hainan's Ring high-speed rail imposed slow orders and suspended some trains. Hospitals opened ad hoc triage areas. prioritizing pregnant women and critical patients. Offshore aquaculture was hammered, rafts flipped, and fish farmers suffered heavy losses. Along the coast from Da Nang to Hue, road sections collapsed and the Hainan Pass was temporarily closed. In fishing harbors, mooring lines snapped, patties vanished under floodwater. Schools canceled classes as community radios looped safety announcements. Forecasters say unusually warm sea temperatures combined with the monsoon loaded Nanfa with moisture, while the sodden ground left by Kojiki amplified flood and landslide risks. Multi-agency rescues continued as food, drinking water, and generators rolled in. Volunteers handed out rain gear and hot meals at stations and shelters. Authorities urged the public to follow the 3 don'ts and 3 must prepares. Don't wade through floodwater. Don't crowd disaster areas for photos. And don't spread unverified information. Do stock drinking water and simple food, flashlights and backup power, and basic medicines and rain gear. With storm season far from over, vigilance is still the rule. Rescue footage kept trending. Firefighters carrying stranded infants through chest-deep water. Sanitation crews lifting manhole covers to speed drainage. Strangers turning their cars into makeshift shelters, passing out dry towels and hot ginger tea. For all its gentle name, Typhoon Nanfa is etching an unforgettable mark between China and Vietnam.
Thank you for watching. If you found this report helpful, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell, so you won't miss future disaster updates. Some visuals in this program are for illustration only and not from the actual scene. We'll see you in the next episode. Stay tuned, and most importantly, stay safe.